Good morning, students. Welcome to your computer class. I am Sunny, your computer teacher. So, students, today we will proceed further with our chapter, which is computer software. So, let's first do a quick recap of what we have learned till now. We have learned about the difference between the hardware and the software. We know what is a computer software. We know what are the types of computer software. In types of computer software, we learned about system software and application software. As I mentioned about, system software further been getting classified into operating system, language processor, and utility software, whereas application software gets can be divided into general purpose application software and specific purpose application software. So in system software, we learnt about operating system and language processor. In operating system, I explained about how important an operating system is, as it bridges the gap between the user and the computer. So how important it is. The computer only understands the binary language, and the operating system helps the computer to communicate in English. So students, there is one point we should have discussed it earlier. The term software was first used by John Wilder Tukey in 1957. So this is very important, and you should remember this, because normally when you appear for your competitive examination, you will come across these kind of questions. So remember this. This is very important. The name is John Wilder Tukey in 1957. So students, today we will start with utility software. Now, utility software is something which helps the computer to perform its duties. So it is not an operating system, it is not a language processor, it is kind of a supporting software which helps the computer to work. So generally, the primary job of the utility software is to provide maintenance to the computer system and to ensure that it runs smooth. Now, some examples of utility softwares are disk defragmenter, antivirus, backup utility, and compression. What are these? Let's try to understand them one by one. Disk defragmenter. Now, disk defragmenter, when you save, let's say you have got a cartoon video from your friend, and you have saved it in your hard disk in your computer. Now when you are saving it, it doesn't save in one location. Hard drive has got some magnetic disk, and in each disk it is divided into different circles, and then it is divided into different sectors. Now each sector in the computer may have this one copy of the scene which is there. For example, the starting of the movie can be in sector 4, the middle of the movie might be in sector 8, then the ending of the movie might be in sector 10. So what happens is, when the hard drive, when you're playing a movie, the magnetic disc rotates and provides the sequence of the scene. So for that, the hard drive has to spin a lot. What disk defragmenter does is that it collects everything and puts it in one sector, in one. For example, if there are 10, 15 students, and if I ask you to relay an information to 15 students, and I made all the 15 students and sit in different rooms, it will be very difficult for you to walk into each room and communicate the same message. But if I make all the 15 students sit in one room and then I ask you to relay the message, it would be much more easier for you, right? That's how exactly the disk defragmenter works. So disk defragmenter, by squeezing, by arranging the file, reduces the speed, increases the speed of the system and frees up space in your hard drive. Next is the antivirus software. This is also a utility software. We all know that antivirus software provides protection from virus, malware, and other suspicious softwares and programs which might cause damage to the computer. So when we scan it, we can also remove the virus from the computer, and it keeps our system in good health. So every system should have an antivirus, and the antivirus should also be updated at regular intervals. So examples of antivirus, you can see it in your book. We have Norton, we have Avast, we have Kaspersky, we have Quick Heal, and we have Symantec. Lot of them are there. So you can even you would have an antivirus in your computer. So if you don't, then I would recommend you to have one to keep your system safe. Next is the backup utility. Now, backup utility is the process of recovering data in case, if for example, if there is a sudden damage or accidental loss in your computer, then the backup utility keeps the record of all the files which is there, and it helps you to restore the computer once it is up and running. So backup utility is also an example of utility software. Next is the compression. Now what compression does is, you would have used, few of you would have used it also. It compresses or shrinks the file so that less disk space is occupied. Normally if you have too many videos or if you have too many files, what you do it, you can use a compression program. You can install the compression program in your computer, and it will shrink the file, reduces the disk space, and that will ultimately also make your system fast. So example of this is WinZip. So next comes is the application software. Now what is an application software? It is a set of programs developed by programmers in order to perform specific tasks. They may be installed on a computer depending upon the user requirement. Application software can further be classified into two categories, and these are general purpose application software and specific purpose application software. So application software, the general purpose, first we will discuss about general purpose application software. In general purpose, the examples of general purpose would be word processing software. So in word processing software, we can talk about MS Word, we can talk about we can talk about Google Docs, right? And even Apple has got a word processor program which is called as Apple Pages, right? And there is an OOO writer. So there are a lot of them, but Microsoft Word is a very popular word processing software. Second thing is the spreadsheet software. Now, word processing software helps us to create text like letters. If you want to write letters, if you want to write stories, essay, or news, or anything, then you use the word processor. For maintaining a record, a financial numerical record, or to analyze a data, we use the spreadsheet software. Example of spreadsheet softwares are MS Excel, and then OOO calculator. In Google we have Google Sheets, and in Apple, which is Macintosh, we have Apple Numbers. So generally Excel is not used to write a letter, it is used for data processing or data manipulation or data modeling. Next comes is the presentation software. Now, presentation software is used to present the idea or concept lively. So this, for example, you would have seen PowerPoint. In most of the classes, we use PowerPoint for teaching. So you would have also heard about Google Slides, right? For example, the video which you are looking right now, I have used Google Slides to make this video. So you can see that. So Google Slides. Then in Apple, it is Apple Keynote. So even there are freely available presentation software, which is OOO Impress, which can be downloaded from openoffice.org. Next is DBMS. DBMS is a database management system. This software helps us to arrange and store a large amount of information in an organized way. The example of this is MS Access, Oracle, open office, org base, etc. Now DBMS, let me give you a brief example, because this is one thing you would not have seen, because I'm sure you would have seen Word, you would have seen Excel, you would have seen PowerPoint, but DBMS is something you would not have come across. So let me give you an example, a very simple example. So if a big building, just imagine a big building as a godown which is filled with data from first room to the last room, right? In that, if I ask you to get me one particular file, right, so it will be very difficult for you to manually go and search each room and find it. But in DBMS, the database management system, we use a technology, we use a science, or we use a logic or a string to get that information from us. This is an example of DBMS. DBMS data are very large or very huge. So next comes is the DTP, the graphics software and multimedia software, which we are going to discuss it in our next class. So we are going to stop here today, and I request you to make a note of your homework. Your homework would be to do fill in the blanks in the bit by bit book itself, and you will do question number E, answer the following question, which is question 2 and question 3 in your computer notebook, which is what is the difference between system software and application software, and question number 3, which is define utility software. So these two questions, you're going to do it in your computer notebook. So students, this brings us to the end of the class. If you have any questions or clarification, feel free to reach me through the comment section. So thank you students, stay home and stay safe.